for Emil Lahoud. And Moratinos was calling, oh, by the way, I remember Moratinos. Moratinos, do you want?
Please.
Moratinos, he sat down and he said, somebody came and whispered to Farouk Shara in his ear.
That's what we discussed yesterday.
Yes,
Okay.
what we discussed.
You remember it today. Okay.
And Farouk Shara reacted, like he heard some bad news. So Moratinos asked him, what's wrong? He goes, there is an accident that happened in Lebanon. After 5 minutes, 10 minutes, some Spanish diplomat came and whispered in the ear of Moratinos and said Rafiq Hariri was assassinated. So he looked at Farouk and he said, you call that an accident? Assassinating Rafiq Hariri an accident? So he stood up and left, and without a press conference actually. And he said, and he came straight to Beirut, Moratinos.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember. Because that was I wanted to say that.
Okay. So we go back to 1559.
1559.
If I may ask you the following. You stated that you came aware when you were on the boat in Sardinia when your late father broke his shoulder. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What did he tell you exactly?
He didn't tell me.
Please.
The thing is,
take your time to remember.
My father had got food poisoning, and he went, into this very he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking the phone calls for him, and telling him that these people are saying that, the French are saying that. I don't remember if Amal was there or not. Was she? I think Amal was there. Or maybe not. I'll remember now. But I was taking phone calls from the advisor of President Chirac at the time. I think it was Guldo Montani.
Mr. Montagny.
Oui, Guldo Montani.
Mm-hmm.
And the French were telling my father what was happening with Moratinos and Farouk al-Shara and Bashar al-Assad. That and at one point, there were advanced negotiations that they would give up Emil Lahoud. And that was after that Bashar had threatened my father. You have to remember. Threatened him, Agadir, Sardinia, and then there was this period of negotiation before voting for Lahoud. It was I think a week, something like that. So there were negotiations going in and out, and I remember very well at one point the Syrians said, fine, we will not extend it to Lahoud. So
After the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Then I told my father, I said, let's wait what they will do. That's what Moratinos said to the French and the Americans. But I was only talking to the French. And then they called back to Moratinos, or Moratinos calls them because it's getting late in New York, and they wanted to make a decision whether to go for the vote or not go for the vote. Farouk Shara informed Moratinos, well, you know, it's okay with us, but you need to call Nabih Berri. He called Nabih Berri, and Nabih Berri told him, you know, we're a free sovereign country and we want the extension of Emil Lahoud. So basically it was, you know, the Syrians telling the world to go suck it up. They informed me, informed my father, and
Who were they?
Gourde Montagne,
Okay.
and sometimes President Chirac. And then they went for the vote. They took the decision. And they said, Rafiq, I think he talked to my father at that point. He said, Rafiq, I made a deal with the Americans and I have to go for it. And we have to go through this resolution.
Am I correct to say, sorry to interrupt, am I correct to understand from you now that Mr. Chirac was trying to convince your father to go with the resolution, notwithstanding
he was
what will
informing
happen?
him. He was informing, that's it, khalas, we're going to go for it. It's not anymore a threat, it's we're going to go for the resolution.
So your dad was kind of, we don't, it's better to find a solution rather than going for it.
So he was, and anyway, he wasn't in the kind of health, I told you his blood pressure was, sometimes I would wait to wake him up and tell him. At night it was issued, about 9 votes, and my father, a few days later, went to Lebanon. And they made extension. I remember also that the relationship between my father and Chirac got a little bit
Tense?
tense. Because I remember, I think...
You prefer the word tense or confrontation?
Not tense.
Tense, okay.
Because on the 1st of November, it was my father's birthday. My father was here and we were here. And still his friend. And usually when President Chirac calls him, he tells him, Salut Rafiq. And at that time, he called him and he said to him, Monsieur le Premier Ministre, vous voulez seulement dire joyeux anniversaire. And my father said, Merci, Monsieur. They hang up. Usually they talk. They're more, the relationship was...
Merci, Monsieur le Président, lui avait dit.
Yeah.
Ouais, okay.
That was 1559. After that, during all of that, they were always, they were saying that Marwan Ahmadi was on the boat with my father negotiating in 1559, and that they wrote the letters and all of that. But my father knew about the 1559.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind, Am I correct to, my understanding is correct when I say that your father considered what it became later today, 1559, as a threat?
Yes. They used it against
So he didn't like it? Is it right to say that he didn't like it?
I wouldn't say he didn't like it. No, he liked it.